Chapter 5, Static Electricity. The second experience occurred when she was on land doing her weekly grocery shopping. Repeatedly, she met with conduction problems as she shuffled through the store. Yes, the one with the bad fluorescent lighting. She experienced startling shocks every time she touched her cart. "They must have installed a new electrical cart system here," she concluded. But she also got a bolt running through her when she touched the chicken display. Electric cameras? Surveillance? To prevent theft, maybe? By the time she had gotten all her groceries on her list at 9:30 at night, a move towards independence, leaving the house when streetlights were on, C was exhausted. Her hair was standing up more than she could. She had received over 100 shocks, touching displays, pushing her cart, flip-flopping, and foot-dragging through that awful store. C never did like grocery shopping. The cashier at the checkout became concerned. "Are you okay?" CeeCee's first words of her day were, "Did you guys install a new electrical surveillance cart display system in here?" Was it that comment, or the fact her thinning hair was sticking out, full of static electricity, or just that people liked her? The final shock occurred when two assistants from the grocery store staff suddenly showed up, smiling at her a lot, helped her bag her purchases that night. It was the quickest checkout she'd ever had with this dreaded task. She must be liked, she again concluded. These repeated hot lightning flashes caused some alarm after a word search fooling around on the big W. She found cat scratch fever? Or could it be Cotard's or Catard syndrome, a delusion that leads victims to believe they're dead? So she went to a new veterinarian nearby named Dr. Pat to see what the cause could be, if she had a diagnosable condition. It was just curiosity. She was put through many tests and probes, stretched out, smeared around, pushed in. Alien abduction came to mind under the raw light of her nakedness. Doctors' degrees, procedures' names, medical codes were given to her and explained. Her anxiety prevented her from understanding what had happened to her during her copay transaction. But after finding out these hot electrical flashes were normal, she firmly decided she never wanted to see that Dr. Pat smear again. Chapter 6, Planes, Pains, A-I-N-S, Pains, A-N-E-S. Given these two very memorable experiences and her newfound readings about laws of the universe and higher mysteries, C conjectured swallowing one's tongue for a short-lived death experience apparently is no easy feat. F-E-E-T. The Egyptian, Greek, Middle East fakirs, F-A-K-I-R-S, of long ago were able to do this only after extensive study and devotion to the acquisition of this skill. Moving from one plane of existence to another and back again was going to be difficult. At least painstaking. Another interesting word. She knew of mental, physical, and spiritual planes after completing the Kabbalion, readings as mentioned earlier, and researching laws and mysteries of life and death. She lined and outlined some detailed interpretations for herself. She developed levels of steps that occurred like a ladder in a twisting DNA double helix construct, rising into higher levels of existence. Something started with movement, then low notes, the musical scale, E, G, B, D, fine, silence, heat increases, color, ROYGB, violet, no color to invisibleness, photography, X-rays, electromagnetism, disintegration, original elements, atoms, vibrations, experience of feelings, 1 to 100%, ethereal substance, mental states, thought strength of belief, 1 to 100%, spiritual world, to the Alice Almighty, absolute, total, ever after. A double helix of yin and yang. Unsettled, reasoning, she was just a line somewhere black on white. So many wanderings and wanderlands, pain, AIN, and pain, PANE, and planes, within one could exist. She put 2, 1, 2, and 2, 0, 0, together. After all that research and reflecting, she simply concluded, to fake my death by a plane change, I would have to rise up to another level, transfer myself from today's ground floor to looking up tomorrow's ceiling. After all, CeeCee is somewhat of a concrete thinker. Chapter 7. Philosophy of Life and Death Transfers. Back to being intellectually taxed by death and dying. CeeCee surmised one had to fully understand one's current vibration of existence before developing the skill of leaving and returning to it as it will. Planes, levels, and substances probably flow out into an expanding universe like electricity and lightning, ground to sky. She knew she liked the electronic experience. We're sure you remember those. When nostalgic, she would even get a shot of electrolysis to rid herself of unwanted chin hair, but always left the procedure room wanting. The sea cat decided to simplify the Hermes Egyptian research to fit her own philosophical distortion, lost and found for fame and money. Hers was a plan to fakir, F-A-K-I-R, her death by using the skills this cat had acquired and strengthened during her lifetimes. 1, she knew she might have an inflated sense of self, lots of data there, that would help motivate her through all of this. 2, also her multiple electrical experiences were needed to assist her in the meditative state of a fake death so as to obtain an altered consciousness in her higher plane. 3, C knew she would have to steal time away from her current level of living. I've got that covered, she thought. 4, also she was confident her copying skill, Alice Almighty knows how much she has copied, would come in handy to mark her spot in time once she rose up, so to speak. The only problem to solve, C needed to find a portal for her determined exit and entry. She had learned in watercolor class that if you paint all over your precious paper, the original white of it can never be recovered again. No correction can be made, truly never. Okay, got it. So, likewise, in one's life trajectory, similar to a river, it can't be exited or re-entered at the very same point. A life stream is always moving. The ever-evolving universe is expanding with, around, and in us. The current plane will never hold still, always being colored over or overcolored. She concluded this fame by death will be a lot like stealing by protecting her original weights. Her new creative process was becoming the art of interruptus. She knew she had 9 lives. The only concern was she didn't know what number she was living. Instead of a concrete death experience, she might get sought-after results from a modification, stealing space in time. Dimes to donuts, this could work because the theft cat tactic was very familiar to this cat, as you will see. She was glad she didn't have to study anymore. It was time to do. If a shortcut presents itself to a desired goal, why not just take it? And take it she did.